Hello, welcome. We're here with Steve Hoffman from Cal South. Can you tell us what is your title?
My name is Steve Hoffman. I'm the Director of Coaching Education and Player Development for Cal South.
That's a lot.
It's a big mouthful, yes. So originally I was the Director of Coaching Education for a number of years, and then when we had a change in leadership, Steve Sampson left our program. They decided they wanted somebody to run player development. So I was in the wrong place at the right time, as it were. But obviously I feel it can make a big difference, so it's been a big challenge for the last 8 years.
Tell me about ODP and the U.S. Academy programs.
Well, let's try and kind of clear up all this so people understand a little bit more about the Olympic Development Program first. The Olympic Development Program, I think if you listen to what April Heinrich has said in the past, ODP, the acronym, in her mind stands for Opportunities for Players to Develop.
Fabulous.
Okay? The word Olympic Development Program, I would think in the 70s and 80s, was definitely needed because we didn't feel we had enough development going on at the club level. I think in this day and age, the clubs, particularly in Southern California, we have some of the best coaches in the country. 99.99% of development takes place at the club.
That's quite a compliment to the clubs in San Diego and LA and throughout the area.
It definitely. I mean, we've got so many more younger coaches coming in. The one thing we've got to be careful of is that young is good, but young needs to be experienced. So we've just got to make sure that these guys get the appropriate training, are working from the appropriate programs. You know, US Soccer's put out what they call the Best Practices Manual, which we hope everybody follows, but it is one of the best kept secrets in the country. And I think a challenge for Cal South with our 21,000 coaches is to make sure that that document is in everybody's hands.
Well, we're happy to help you with that. Can you tell me the difference between ODP and the Academy program?
Sure we can. I believe about 6 years ago, US Soccer felt that they weren't reaching that Zone 2 player, which is the ages of 14 through 17, and they wanted to take away a few things. Okay, so we got to look at that before the Academy came along. Number one was the average player was playing 60 games a year, Southern California player, 60 to 55 games per year, too many games. The average player was training twice a week. The win-at-all-cost mentality was there. So when US Soccer decided they want to implement this program, they went with a structure where you played 35 competitive games, similar to every country in the world. And then they also went with a best practices manual, which made you train 3 times a week. So what we're doing is we're taking the training game ratio higher. In the past, if you think about it, if your daughter or son went to a tournament, played 5 games in a weekend, had 2 training sessions, doesn't match up. Training is for teaching. Game is for the players to learn. So we need to make sure we have more training opportunities and less game opportunities.
And so that's what the U.S. Academy wants.
So that's basically what they did, exactly. Now in Southern California, we're very unique. We have so many great players. We are very unique. We have, I believe, 10 academy programs. There's no other state in America that has that. For instance, if you look at Oregon, they have one academy program, and they have 1 pro team. In Los Angeles, our demographics obviously are a lot different. We have 2 professional teams, the Los Angeles Galaxy and Chivas USA, who obviously their academies are fully funded. And then you have the other 6 or 8 clubs, Arsenal, Real SoCal Surf, Nomads, that are not funded. So there's a little bit of obviously a little bit of a difference on how they can generate revenue and how they play. But even within the academy, the number of minutes people play, the number of games people play, it's all monitored. So as far as it being, is it a competitor with the U.S. Youth ODP program? I don't believe so. We certainly don't believe so in Cal South.
What is the difference? When you say it's not competitive, what do you mean?
So what happens is, obviously the players that are going to play for, a surf soccer club or Albion or whatever are going to go to them clubs. If you're an academy program, you pretty much reshuffle your team every 2 years. So you're going to have a U16 team and a U18 academy team. 15, 16, 17, 18 is the years. There's 2 age groups at the pinnacle. In the Olympic Development Program, we're still looking to identify kids for our national teams. So, if you think about it, in them particular age groups, 15, 16, 17s, and 18s, there's probably 3,000 kids in Southern California. And if you count the number of players in the academy program, it's probably 300. So do we just disregard those other 2,600 kids?
No.
So what we do is we go out, we scout, and we give those kids the opportunity to still participate in the ODP program. So the way that the academy chooses their teams, every club has tryouts. whether it's Real SoCal, Arsenal, Surf, Nomads, they have a tryout. Kids go to that age group and they try out and they make that club. They make that team. That team is then trained strictly within the guidelines of the best practices manual. Now, the difference between, say, that club and Albion or, Inter-America in Los Angeles is the fact they may be training 3 times a week and doing things a little bit differently. It doesn't devalue playing for a non-academy club. There's some fantastic clubs out there that do a really good job. And if we let's just look at last year, 94 age bracket. Okay, U.S. Soccer in Southern California chose 12 boys that were not part of the academy program. Okay, they chose 12 kids. They did choose some from the academy as well.
How many from the academy?
I would say maybe 2 or 3. 2 or 3. Now, those boys all went to residency. And since then, obviously, just like any player from anywhere, they go in the residency program. If it doesn't work, they go back to their clubs. Okay, we'll give you a little history on where the Olympic Development Program started, where it's come from, to where it is this present day.
Fabulous.
In 1974, it was started as the state select program in this country. All 52 states, 53 states, because some are east and west, south and north. They started the program way back then. In 1983, it turned to the Olympic Development Program. So we are governed by the USOC and the United States Soccer Federation. We have to follow certain criteria. Obviously, the program's open to all. Doesn't matter where they're from, what country they're from, whatever. If they're in the United States and they want to participate and they're selected, they can do that. In 1985 was the major turning point for soccer in this country. A lot of people don't know this.
Oh.
A company called Nike gave U.S. Soccer $60 million.
Wow.
And said, build the programs. Now, anybody that's seen the great videos from the women's side will see when they were in the men's uniforms and all that stuff, yeah? So that was the biggest change, is that when Nike donated that money to sponsored U.S. Soccer, they actually said you have to expend dollars on the women's game. So, me and Ham and those kids all of a sudden became looking like Fifth Avenue, all the gear was nice. So that was a massive turning point for us. That's when the women's game really rose, and of course the guys' game rose.
How many soccer players are there in Southern California?
In Southern California, playing mainstream competitive soccer, we look at Cal South, it's 66,000. Recreational soccer is 60,000. Let's throw AYSO on that, so probably about another 80,000. Let's throw the unaffiliated leagues on that, probably another 60 to 80,000. So the numbers of youth players in Southern California is astronomical.
If you want to get the attention of the U.S. national coaches, what's the best route?
Great question. Great question. Number of best routes, though. I want to reiterate, there's not one way, a main way to make a national team in this country. U.S. Soccer Academy programs, obviously they're in a program that's funded and run through U.S. Soccer, and the Cal South Olympic Development Program, or U.S. Youth Soccer's Olympic Development Program, is the second way. There are 2 great ways. However, on a Saturday, if you're playing in a park in Los Angeles and a national staff coach sees you and likes you, you're going into residency. That's the end of it. That's really the way it works. U.S. Soccer want the best kids in each age group in the country within their programs, whether it's academy, ODP, unaffiliated, whatever league they can find them.